This is Dog Talk with Michael J. Solar on BLK9 TV. Michael, dog trainer, author, and the owner of Blue Line Canine Dog Training, will bring you the answers you need, making your life with your dog the best it could be. Now, here he is, Michael J. Solar with Dog Talk on BLK9 TV. Hey guys, Michael J. Solar here, and welcome to another episode of Dog Talk. I am so grateful and happy to have you guys joining in every week to watch one of our episodes as you continue to learn and explore the world of dog. Tonight, we are having a guest. Her name is Stephanie Shipley, and she is a board of director member or a board member. I believe she's the board director of PACC, which is the Professional Animal Care Council. So I'm really excited to bring her on because she's going to be giving us tons of information about what you should be looking for and what dog professionals could be getting into to benefit their career. So without any further ado, here's Stephanie. So welcome, Stephanie. Welcome to Dog Talk.
Hi, Mike.
So we have you live on our show right now. Stephanie, I'm going to give you a quick little introduction. Let me give everybody a rundown. Stephanie is the owner of Paw and Order, a full-fledged facility, boarding, doggy daycare, training, and all the above. She does bathing, grooming, not full grooming, but bathing, nail trimming. She does a lot of behavior rehabilitation with her dogs, behavioral stuff, and she is located in New Brunswick, which is on the east coast of Canada. So I'm actually before the show started, I had to tell her how my last 2 weeks as I am being invaded from Canadians. I have never met a Canadian before in my life, and now I am literally meeting one almost every day. It's amazing. You are amazing people, and I love learning and from each one of you because it's an amazing different culture that each part of Canada actually has. So I've met so far. Now I have the East Coast. I have Alberta, which is I believe is like on the west side. Quebec, which is what I think is French area, right? French Canadian, something like that. French. Yep. So
it's attached to us. Yeah, just north of us.
I'm getting everywhere. I'm learning all about Canada over the past couple of weeks. I'm really excited about it. But tonight we're going to get back into the subject of learning about dogs. She's also a mother of two lovely young ladies. I believe they're 2 years old. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, 2-year-old twins.
You are a Pet Tech certified CPR instructor as well as certified to do it. And you are, let me get this right, you are the one of the original certifying classes. So eventually one of the original members of the first certifying class of the Professional Animal Care Council and now certification. Is that right?
Correct. That would all be true.
Yes. So now with all that being said, long list of stuff to go over. I did say, and I think I got this mixed up, you are the board of director or are you on the board of directors?
I am the chair of the board of directors.
Got it. Awesome. So Stephanie, you are here. We have PACC. Tell us a little bit about PACC and why our audience should be intrigued and researching and looking for the PACC certifications.
Michael, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I could talk about dogs and dog welfare and dog with pet parents until the cows come home. So it really excites me that your audience is predominantly pet parents because out to them. So PACC, the Professional Animal Care Certification Council, we are, first of all, we're a not-for-profit, a 501c6 in the United States, in New York. We are the tester of, we do not teach, we are not the educator. We are actually, in the world, we're the only organization that offers an independent party certification, which means we create the test using subject matter experts from around and throughout the industry. We create the actual examination. There's 3 of them. And then we test people on their body of knowledge. We do not, it's not a pay me $200, take my course, write my test. So I tell you it's important to learn. This is really, similar to the bar exam. It's international, it's a standard, and you either know it or you don't, regardless of whether you went to Harvard, LSU, University of New Brunswick here. It doesn't matter where you went to law school. You still have to have the same body of knowledge and skills and hands-on hands-on experience. So that's really what PACC is a group of volunteer board of directors. We come up with the exam questions. We run them through the Professional Testing Corporation to make sure that they are suitable internationally, right?
Okay.
That there's no geographical stipulations, that anybody from Australia to Sri Lanka to Brazil to Canada to the UK to the United States, anybody can sit for this exam. And what it really does for pet parents, because this is fundamentally PACC's concern, is twofold. One is you don't have to have any skill, knowledge, or experience to open up a pet care facility or a pet care business. And that, for the most part, is because the pet parents assume that you have this knowledge and skill set in order to run this business. But in fact, it's not regulated by the government. So $10 in a Vistaprint account with a car magnet can get you open as, this dog trainer or a kennel or whatever. The second purpose really for PACC is for the public's benefit. So that, Joe Blow public can differentiate between Kennel A, who has sat for the certification, their owner maybe has sat for the certification and knows what they're doing, versus Kennel B. And I'm not saying that they don't know what they're doing. I'm saying you just don't know.
Right.
At least with Kennel A, you know that they know their stuff. With Kennel B, it's a bit of a shot in the dark. I'm certainly under no circumstance that facilities or pet care providers that aren't certified don't know what they're doing. I'm just saying they haven't taken the step, which is a 2-hour exam. And that's really what it is. It's a 2-hour written exam to prove it. We're asking pet care professionals to prove it so that the public can have an easier time differentiating, the good from the uneducated.
I love how you're talking about the uneducated versus, because again, like you mentioned, so let me time out and let me rephrase this. So one of the things that you said, which really rings true to me, is that and I've said this millions of times, Vistaprint, anybody can go on Vistaprint and get the business card. I've been in the industry. I've been training dogs for about 20 years. In the industry, 15 years is when my company now is in 15 years. And one of the amazing things is that I'm always bugged by like newspaper, people selling them marketing stuff, right? And they come over and they're like, hey, we can do a print ad for you. And I'm like, well, I'm really not into it, because you're going to do the same print ad for me as you would for anybody else that knows nothing about what I do. And there's no way for somebody to actually interview me in that print ad, because you're going to give them the same business card, right? Private, group, and behavior modification, right? And then a phone number to call or text or email, right? And one of the things that when you were saying how anybody can do this, there's no real standard out there. And that's what you guys have created, is the standard. So I guess the big question I'm going to ask about that is, when you guys were developing the PACC standard, right? Did you individualize each part of the industry in your certification? Meaning you PACC certified boarding, PACC certified the bathing and grooming, PACC certified trainers, or do you do any exceptions? I mean, I guess that's another question I would love to know is, do you guys audit your certifications by that? Meaning like go and check out facilities and see if they hold to your standard?
The short answer for that is no, but there's a really good reason for that.
Okay.
Because when a person becomes certified, it's the individual, not the facility.
Okay. That's a great point.
Okay?
Yeah.
So this is an individual certification. So I can have this certification and I can leave my job here and go to another facility. I'm still certified.
Gotcha. Okay.
So there's no, now having said that, one of the irons in the fire that I'm working on the side is the possibility of bringing forth a facility type of certification, but that won't be PACC related. That'll be completely separate. But PACC certification is for the individual. Now, it is all encompassing, so it covers a lot of the information that everybody in the pet services industry should know. Okay, so it's not, okay, well, you're a shelter worker and you need to know this law. Well, that law in your area is not going to be the same as it is in Germany, so it's really hard to get that kind of stuff. Yeah. But you know what? Do you know the signs of heat stroke? Do you know where the blood passes on the dog and the cat that's closest to the skin if you have to cool them down? Do you know what a normal heart rate is? Do you know what bloat is? Do you know feeding and medication instructions and, you know, things like that? So everybody, whether you're a groomer, a pet sitter, a dog walker, boarding, training, doggy daycare, these are things that you should know to create a safer environment for the happy, healthy, and safe pet. So it is by individual.
Okay.
There are, however, 3 levels. There's 3 separate on what you do in the animal care industry. There's the provider level, which is for the people in the industry that work 99.9% hands-on with the animals. Okay, so that's the first level. The second level is a certified professional animal care manager. So it's about 75%, but you got 25% of your time managing other staff. Okay, whether that's in an actual brick and mortar facility or not. And then the third level is the operator level. And the operator level is maybe 35% animal care, percent on the manager side, and then, you know, like 45% over here on the operator side. How do you run your business? Client relations, marketing, employee engagement and retention, hiring and onboarding practices. And all 3 of these levels are governed by, and this is where pet parents need to pay attention. We are governed by a code of ethics. And one of the elements of within the code of ethics is to place the welfare of the top priority above all other business considerations. So we look at that and you're like, you know, do I deal ethically with the parent? Do I deal ethically with the vets, with other trainers, with facilities? I am a member of the pet care community, and I signed on to that code of ethics. And I could easily lose my certification if I was found to defame my position, say bad or whatever. We are a community, and the nice thing about you know, going to a pet care provider who is certified is it offers the pet parent recourse. Right. So, Massachusetts right now, they're trying to introduce Ollie's Law. I've spoken with, I think it was a Republican representative in Massachusetts about Ollie's Law, because Ollie died in a pet care facility, and really there's no sense of recourse for that pet parent whose pet died. Yeah. Whereas if you take that animal to a PACC certified professional, if you feel that they are misrepresenting their services, not being truthful, something happens to your animal due to negligence, you can speak with PACC to do an investigation on that. You know, right. And that person may very well lose their certification as a result, because with certification, that's a very overused word. Oh,
yeah, it really is, and that's why it was so good to have you on, because, you know, as we did research and PACC, you can, you know, obviously I'm not going to mention any other organizations, but you can see how some of them you just take, you know, you pay the money and you get your cert, right? It's a thing. It's essentially, if you join our clique, you get the piece of paper, it says you're a member, or the 29, I like to call it the 29 question guaranteed pass test, right?
Right.
So it's like,
and that's not what we're about. The exam is difficult, and it should be, because it needs to have credibility. Yeah. It needs to prove that these pet providers know what they're doing. You know, the true test to whether you're being certified or whether you're getting a certificate, certification is, first of all, it is time bound. So it actually expires. So I am also pet tech certified. It's good for 2 years, and redo it in order to. So first of all, a certification needs to be time bound, and secondly, it needs to be revocable. You need to be able to lose it. So for those organizations that say, you know, pay my course and get this certificate at the end, it doesn't have conditions or on an expiry date, then you get a certificate, not a certification. Yeah. I see that a lot within other organizations. They're like, we offer this certification. And I'm like, no, you don't actually. Because once I take your test on your is important, good, that's not certification.
Right.
That's a certificate of complete.
Yeah.
And in order for PACC certification is years. And in those 3 years, you have to obtain X number of continuing education credits, which means you have to self-educated on trends, products, uses, different things that are coming out in the pet care industry. And people are like, well, what new comes out in the pet industry? Well, the pet care industry is a heck of a lot different today than it was 25 years ago. So things do happen in this industry. As in marketing, look at us, look how far we've come with COVID. I had no idea how to do a Zoom call before COVID started. And all of a sudden I was doing Facebook Lives directly on Zoom, streaming all over. So, there is something to be said for assuring the pet parent that the people looking after your pet know what they're doing now and will keep knowing what they're doing because it's better for your pet.
Absolutely. I totally love everything of what you're talking about here. I love that there's a timetable. It's really neat to see that there is an ability for, the expiration, but also the point of that it can go back. For example, if one of our staff members are certified and there's an issue with them, it's not only just complaining to the company, but you can complain higher, revoke the certifications that the company's holding to it. I do like that because it does start to set aside and separate the problem, but as well, it's also creating, once again, a community, bringing people back together, because it's showing people that, look, there's an education out there, but we're not testing you in the sense of you have to do it my way. It's more of, do you care? That's what I'm gathering from you is it's more about, do you really care about the animals? Are you really in the industry to give care to these pet owners, family members while they're in your care, or are you just doing it for the almighty dollar?
That's exactly it.
You brought up the fact that COVID has made all of these massive changes in our industry. And a lot of people don't know this, but the pet industry is due to grow based off the COVID. I think it's $4 billion over the next 4 years. That's $1 billion a year growth, which shows you that we're about to have a huge expansion of people in the industry. And the question, this reminds me of, I'm sure you remember, the United States housing crash.
Oh, yeah.
Well, back in the early 2000s, right? They flooded the market with all the mortgage reps and all these different things that didn't care about the market. What they cared about was just making the sale, getting the house, and it caused a crash. And it reminds me of that, knowing that we're about to hit a $4 billion growth. And that scares me as a major pet care facility, as a major person that loves and cares about these pet owners and their family members. What standards are we going to be pushing out there to keep everybody and educate all these owners on what they should be looking for, bare minimally? So that brings me into a big question for you is, does PACC offer any type of education for pet owners to look and seek out? So that way, if they come across somebody that, let's say, is not PACC certified, because there's a good chance they might not know about you either.
Correct.
Right. So is there something that people could ask, think, investigate with local trainers, facilities, providers that PACC would say, hey, if they're answering these in a good way, is there any education that the regular dog owner can seek from you guys?
Absolutely. Actually, the year 2021, because we felt that we spent a lot of time trying to convince pet care facilities that it's important, and the pet care facilities and the people that own them, generally speaking, are like, I'm busy enough. I'm like, that's not the point.
Yeah,
that is not the point. So we're like, you know what? I'm not gonna bark up that tree anymore. I'm going to the pet parent and I'm telling them to start asking their pet care provider to get PACC certified. And so our mission this year in 2021 is to really connect with the pet parent. And anybody listening to this on a podcast, watching it live, you know what? Feel free to reach out to me at any time. I would love to talk to you specifically and personally about pet care in your community and what you should expect. However, having said that, not everybody has the time to do that. So on our website, which is paccert.org, there is a section devoted specifically to pet parents. And one of the things that Amy Hillis, our vice chair, put together in the past month is a little checklist that a pet parent can print off and use to compare 3 different facilities and give them a ranking to help them choose the best qualified pet care provider for their family pet.
And that is going to be PACCERT. That's PACCERT.org, correct?
That's right.
So,
yep. And there's a little tag right at the top that says pet parents. There's a little video that we did try to educate pet parents that, you know, I understand that you assume, you know, and not wrongfully, but you've made an assumption that people who do this for a living are certified and qualified to do that. Just like a doctor, a child care provider, a teacher.
Yeah.
I get it. But the truth is that that's not the case. And Michael, if I can take you down a little side note, I'll give you an example of what happened years ago at my local. We had our little booth. I had a little PACC spot on the side, my little paw and order spot, my little pet first aid and CPR pet tech thing going on. I'm not one of those people who will make people uncomfortable by going over to them and say, "Can I help you?" I just, you know, look at the information. It's all educational. Ask any questions. Right. And there was this fella, probably in his mid-50s, who was in my booth for what I would consider an extraordinarily long time. Eventually, I went over, probably after about 20 minutes. I said, "Is there anything that I can help answer for you?" And he looked at me and he said, "My wife and I just bought a building in the industrial park and we're looking to open a dog daycare to pay the mortgage." And right there, I knew that we have to start reaching pet parents. If your motivation to start a doggy care is to get money to pay the mortgage on a building, you should not be in the industry. Too many of those situations popping up, and dogs and cats and ferrets and iguanas, and they're dying.
Yeah.
Not right. We have to do something as a community to say that is not okay. We have to protect our industry from those who are getting in it solely the almighty dollar, and get it back to the people who are in it because they love these pets more than anything.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, you had told me that you've done a lot of research on me, which I think is awesome that before coming on my show, you decided to dive in. But I can tell you that has been my biggest thing that I've always been out there about. It's always been pushing the education. You know, it's not about just teaching the dog this really nice, fancy heel. Like, one of the big things I always tell people is, you know, you need to interview your trainers. You need to interview the people where you're going. One of the big things that I was big on with facilities is that you should be able, during working hours, walk into a facility and ask for a tour immediately. And they should give you a tour. They should never tell you that you need an appointment. Another big thing I'm against, you know, and this one this is where me and a lot of other people, we have difference of opinions. I don't believe in the live access cameras. And the reason why is a few things. Number one is I also have to protect my staff. And I don't, you know, my staff has a right to privacy as well. And you don't know what's going on in their personal lives and with stalkers and all that other kind of weird stuff. But you can never hide from a surprise visit. You can hide from cameras. So when you have live feed cameras, you know where the show is. You know, like an actor knows when the camera's on. You know what I mean? Like, so when somebody's like, "We have live feed cameras," that's how you know you can trust us, but they won't give you a tour. You really need to reevaluate that. It's the tour is what's really more important. If they're open, you should be able to walk in the back. And you know, I would love to find out more about the difference, because you had said that PACC doesn't certify facilities, but it certifies the individuals. And one of the big questions I had is there incentives for facilities to want to certify all their staff versus certain staff versus, you know, is there anything out there that's really pushing them, or is it just more for the owner versus not the owner? I guess really because you're certifying the individuals, right?
Correct.
I'm throwing this at you. It's a curveball at you. So I walk into my facility. I'm walking into Blue Line Canine, and I'm like, "Hey, I want to board my dog here." And I have one person that's PACC certified, one person that's not PACC certified. So where does that really leave me? I mean, if there's not a major incentive for the company to push everybody for it, versus, does PACC offer standards for facilities to offer policy procedures?
No, because we're not the educator. We are absolutely not the educator. We do hold webinars on our Facebook page we just had one for pet parents actually 2 weeks ago about summertime safety, taking your dog to patios and loose leash walking and meeting other people. So we have those, but here's where it kind of leaves you. So one of my big pushes, as I was chatting with the Republican representative of Massachusetts, as a Canadian, so I was like, whatever. I don't know what, right, left, red, blue. I don't know what. I'm talking to this person. And so I said, one of the things that PACC would like to see, and I personally and professionally would like to see, is the mandate that if you operate a dog or a pet-related business where you're providing care for pets, whether it's pet sitting, grooming, dog walking, facility, whatever, that the owner at the very minimum should be PACC certified. At least that way, you know that new employees coming in are being taught the right things.
Yeah, I can see that.
At the very least, one person. Now, even if you said one person in each organization, but of course, as a business owner myself, I would always make that me, because other people can leave the business, and there goes my. So I say, you know what? If federally in Canada and or the United States, federally the government said, yeah, if you operate a pet care facility or business, one person at the very minimum needs to be PACC certified, that would make an absolute shift in the pet care immediately.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you know a little secret about the U.S. government is the federal government actually has less power than the state. So don't go, if you're trying to get that requirement, don't go after the federal.
That's true. I have learned that. I'm heavily involved in the case in Illinois that had to do with the fire of the kettle in 2019, and actually county wields a lot of power. Yeah. So yes, it could be very much at the state level as well. But
movies here really misrepresented. So movies here make the federal government to the superpower, local government to nothing, when the reality is, according to our constitutions, the smaller the government, the more power it has. So the little tiny town has more power within its city limits than the higher thing. But and it's with good reason. It just means that you're able to in charge of your thing. So with that being said, there's a couple of things, because like, for example, we have like these big leash laws here in the U.S. I'm not sure about Canada, but here in the U.S., leash laws, the SPCA, humane societies, they're very big organizations here, and a lot of people, and I'm looking forward, and I've reached out to our animal control department to bring them on our show to discuss a lot of these laws and understanding, because, like, for example, here, our leash laws change county to county in the state of Maryland. So every county is completely different with the leash laws. So that's where when you come in and we discuss like PACC certification, it's unique because of the fact that what I'm hearing from you is that you're creating a standard that if for example, if a client comes to our facility and we have a PACC certification or a PACC certified member of our organization, right, that we know that this person is implementing a standard across the board. And we're blessed that we do have a PACC certified member, and they're able to put the certification, they're able to bring in the education that they've provided and shared and earned recognition through your organization. What I really find to be nice is this: I get to travel a lot, and what I'm understanding is that your standard is that here in the Baltimore region of Maryland is also going to be the same in Florida, Canada, California, Illinois. Like, you're not going to make the exception.
Correct.
Just because we're in a different state, a different area, a different point. And I do like that. I think it's really, really good. I love the fact that you have put the information up there for the pet owner. And if they're looking for more information, ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking for this information, if you are wondering what you could be seeing, they might not be PACC certified, but at least PACC has gone ahead and put the tools and given you the tools at paccert.org. That's PACCERT.org. So PACCERT.org. Check them out. On their website, they have the tools. And you said that's a tab, pet parent or
Yeah, pet parents. There's
pet parents?
there's a couple of different resources on there. You can also subscribe to the PACC Snacks newsletter. We currently have 840 pet on our mailing list. So when we come up with a new tool or resource that's dedicated to specifically pet parents, we'll send it out to them. Because education is everything. And you know, I had the opportunity to do a Facebook Live with somebody in preparation for the IBPSA conference not long ago. She said live difference between a professional and a hobbyist is education.
Yeah.
So I thought that was such a powerful statement, because pets and pet parents deserve better than what the pet care industry is starting to become. And I say that because it doesn't have to be that way. You know, we're going to have a $4 billion surge. There's going to be lots of muddy water down there at the bottom, and I don't want any part of it. Now, PACC certification, you talked about incentives for organizations. Absolutely. In order to work here at PAW and Order, you either have to be PACC certified or get PACC certified within 18 months. My turnover rate at my individual facility right now is less than 1%. Because I'm hiring people who take it as seriously as I do.
I love that.
And you either are in it with the true passion for care. Everybody loves dogs. People love dogs, and I get that. But do you, in a way that everything else pales in comparison, or do you put them first above everything? Their health, happiness, safety, everything. You don't play around with them. They are furry little souls.
So now one of the things that we talked, so you just stated the fact that you bring your new hires in and they are required to take within a certain period, 18 months, you said, to get PACC certified. Love that idea. It sets a standard. It's putting wheels in motion in your organization and stating this is the way it works. But you also stated earlier that PACC is just a test. It's obviously a membership to the organization, but it's a test. You're setting the standard of knowledge. Where can they seek the knowledge to prepare for the test? Does PACC offer education prior to the test? Is there something along those lines that they can study for? Is it online? Do they have to go to a school? Where do they seek that information?
You know, that's an excellent question.
I try. Once in a while.
That's an excellent question. You're very good at this, Michael. There's a number of different places you can get education when it comes to that is supportive or congruent with our code of ethics. So that method of learning.
Okay.
You're not going to get anything as far as praying for the PACC that says beat your dog into submission. Like that's not in line with code of ethics. So all of the recommended resources are in line with our code of ethics. So you could, when I first was preparing for my PACC exam, I joined the IBSA, the International Boarding and Pet Services Association, watched their hundreds of hours of videos on geriatric care, puppies in daycare, cleaning and sanitation, all of that. You can also go to fetchfind.com. Their entire program is completely free on dog education, dog body language. It's entirely free. You can read books. There is no course per se. You can follow our Facebook page where we do educational webinars. But when you go, if you're interested in sitting for the PACC exam, first of all, there is a certain number of hours that you have to have as a paid professional in the industry to even qualify to take the exam.
Okay.
This isn't for pet parent who wants to be served. These are for industry professionals, and by definition receive payment in exchange for the working with animals.
Right.
But when you go to the tab on our website that says Pet Care Pros, there's an entire area in there called Exam Prep, including links to books on Amazon. And there's a list of resources as far as books, webinars, videos that you can watch in preparation to get yourself ready for the PACC exam at whatever level you're preparing for. And some of those, Dr. Ian Dunbar's resources are on there. These are also resources that apply for PACC CEUs. Once you do become certified, you need to obtain X number of CEUs to maintain it.
Okay.
Ian Dunbar and Jamie Dunbar have been wonderfully supportive. Jamie DeMotto from Fetch Find, Carmen PSA, Tom Soames from PEC, Robin and Susan from the Dog Gurus. These are all subject matter experts and industry professionals who make the job of educating pet care professionals to make their pets and healthy. Well, those are the reasons. We actually do have a list in the handbooks for each of the exams. You can say, here's a list of books and resources that I should take a look at to prepare.
Awesome. I see I'm starting to lose your internet. I guess we got a good chunk of time from you, and now we're starting to lose that internet. Are you there? Did you freeze completely?
I'm here.
No, all right. Well, your face is frozen on our live screen, but no worry. I believe it'll come back. No worries. It's not a bad image of you, so don't stress out too much on the live feed for Facebook. It's that it must be some bad weather maybe up there, some turbulence. A couple of things that you said, CEUs, just so anybody was wondering that's listening, CEUs are continued education units. They're really good. It's basically proving that the trainer is going back for continued education. A lot of people that have gotten in our industries, to give you guys an idea, they get in the industry and they stop seeking information, or they look for bad education because what they're looking for is something that would just essentially make them stand out in a sense of sales or marketing. They're not really looking for bigger, better ways of educating the owners, parents, and taking care of their pets. So CEUs are a really good way of keeping certifications, which is really another great step that PACC has done. So I'm really impressed with everything you've talked about, Stephanie. And due to the fact that you're still frozen on our screen, are you still there?
I am still here. I hear you just fine.
Still here. So what we're going to do is we'll end the episode here, but don't hang up until I tell you goodbye. What we're going to do is ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say thank you very much, Stephanie, for coming on. We'll close this up. We will set up another time to have Stephanie back on our show, so that way we can get a little bit more in depth with PACC. I really think this is something that I think everybody should learn about. I really love the resources that your organization has put together to really, like you said, the 3 chart, like the 3 comparisons. I think that is amazing thing, because I always tell people that, one, you should have a favorite, a second favorite, and a third favorite anyway. So if you're ranking at least 3 kennels, because listen, everybody, daycares, facilities, if they're ran properly, they're going to book up, and they're going to book up fast. So which means is that they're not always going to be available for that last minute position. My facility has an 8-to-1 ratio. That is not a standard. That is just my standard, is an 8-to-1 ratio. Steph, what is your ratio for dogs to trainers?
My ratio is a 10-to-1.
So 10-to-1. We're not that far off from each other.
Yep,
I'm an 8-to-1,
especially in group play. And it's 100% supervised.
Yep. So we're in the same boat. We're an 8-to-1 period. So we have 8 dogs to 1 person in the building period at our facility. And that is a great number to have. As you can see, she's right there at 10. We're very close together in that one. And it goes to show, because it allows more availability to keep contact over the animals. It keeps better close eye on them. It allows less accidents to occurring because they're not overwhelmed with 20, 30, 40 dogs and stuff like that. So these are great things to compare to. But remember, if you guys are looking for those great facilities, you're going to want to get out there, start your checking, get the checklist. That way you can go through the different facilities, find out which ones you are, and you can get your reservations for them. Because if they are top notch, if they are what me and Stephanie believe they should be, then they're probably going to be booking up pretty quick. So if you guys are out there looking, make sure you're out there doing that stuff. So that way you can get a part of it and be a part of it. Remember, our industry is not just about loving your dog. It's a culture of loving your dogs. And we're all pet people. I have not met anybody in the pet industry so far that has not been all about the animals and all about that creative culture of bringing us all together. We all collectively have a desire to be bigger, better, and more importantly, supportive of each other, as we have the common thread of our dogs. So, Stephanie, thank you for coming on our show. Hang tight for me as we sign off here. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. If you are looking for more episodes, please feel free to go to blk9tv.com, get on our subscription list. We will email you the shows live as they come up, and you will never miss another episode and always be able to get discounts and everything else that we can come across. So get a part of our club at blk9tv.com, and we'll see you next week for the next episode. Bye, everybody.